Secret friends, unite!
Welcome to the Secret Friends Unite podcast. This is your guide to the geek side, and I'm your host, Todd Oxtra, joined by Charlie Carden, who is banned from talking about the weather.
Oh, look, like you have after five takes trying to get this show started, you immediately have to take a swipe at me. Isn't that just the way? This is the way. That's what the Mandalorian was really about. This is the way. It was backbiting. It was like,
what do you think about that, Stanley? You can't even see it because of my background. Hey, Stanley, what do you think? Should we talk about the weather? No, we shouldn't. Excelsior! Prop comics. We've gone off the rails.
Jack Kirby's wife.
That's true. Yes, we should bring back the real Stanley experience.
Oh
yes. So we are back. Going to talk about some fun things today in the world of nerd. But before we do that, we have a podcast, obviously, because that's what we're doing today, and we would love it if you decided to subscribe to our podcast and gave us a 5-star review on iTunes. And along with that, we have a YouTube page where we are now almost all video now. So check us out, see my props, enjoy our beautiful faces. It's a lot of fun. We have guests now on a lot of our shows, so they're showing up as well, and you get to see them, and it's just a lot of fun to see my face and Charlie's face as we make fun of each other. And that's half the fun.
Right. Profile. Good side.
But I will say we are going to be having a change to our podcast to let you guys know that we are going to be turning off Podomatic in the near future. So we are going to make sure that you guys know how to get our show, our single feeds and the group feed. So all that's coming together. We're very close. We just want to make sure we don't screw anything up, but we'll make sure you know where to go so you get all of our stuff in one place, and it's far less confusing because right now we have both running. So I think this is the right move. Yeah.
No multiple downloads because you don't need that stuff.
Absolutely. It just gets confusing. Which one should I be on? And so, yeah. So after that, though, Charlie, we kicked it off and did something new. I think we're kind of on the cutting edge now, where we added Discord. We added a server for Secret Friends Unite, and it's really a great new way to interact in real time in the various channels or communities of Secret Friends Unite, video games, comic books, geek media, Star Wars, Star Trek. There's ways to do voice chat. There's all those things. If you want to game together, it's a great way to talk and do things. And Charlie, you've been talking about you did a watch along with a Star Trek episode, and that's something you could use in Discord because everybody's in the server. They just turn it on, and everybody can talk right away. Versus here's the Zoom to link and do that. So yeah, it's a great way to do it. Yeah, that's how people are communicating. People use Discord for study halls and things like that. So it's out there, folks. We'll make sure you get links to get invited to the group because we're just having a good time there, and I think it's been a lot of fun so far. So once again,
we're having a good time. We're having a good time like the Cosby Kids. Nah, gonna have a good time.
Well, now we're banned, Charlie, because we brought up the Cosby show.
I said the Cosby Kids, not Cosby.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that show's not racist, right? You can't cancel Fat Albert.
Not racist. It's probably, I don't know. I'm not moving on from the Cosby show. Let's talk about something, though, that goes along with our show, and that is a special comic that matches the episode number.
Ooh, and this was my grab because this is a very important issue to me, and it's interesting. It came out in August of 1987, so I was 11 years old. And this was just prior to when I started following. This is Captain America number 332. This is the issue written by Mark Gruenwald that kicked off Captain America No More. The U.S. government stripped Steve Rogers of his uniform and shield when he refused to become an agent of the government and no longer be a free agent. This led to John Walker becoming Captain America, like you just recently saw in the Captain America and the Winter Soldier television series, and Steve Rogers donning the all-black, super sexy motif of the captain and getting a new shield. And this was a longer story arc. It went for almost 20 issues. My absolute favorite. And obviously, in the end of it, Steve Rogers becomes Captain America again. John Walker, who in the course of the 20-something issues goes completely nuts and off the reservation and starts killing people, they still manage to somehow give him Steve Rogers' old outfit, and he becomes the U.S. agent. Cool story. All has to do with the Red Skull and a cloned body of Steve Rogers. But in the final battle, he absorbs his own Red Skull dust, and his head turns to a skull, so he's a real Red Skull. It's crazy. It's good stuff. In the middle
It
of
all
it,
happens in this one issue.
no, it happens in the 20 issue arc, but lodged,
Okay.
lodged in the middle of it is a great story where the Viper goes to Washington, D.C., pours a substance in the water that turns people to snakes, including, you got it, a starring role of Ronald Reagan, and Cap saves him.
Is that the origin of Cobra Commander? Remember when he got turned into a snake by
I
Cobra
think
Law?
that's entirely canonically possible. It happened in the same year. So, you know what?
Sure.
That's possible. That's possible. So anyway, I love this. I love that arc. I've read it many times. I dust it off and probably read it every couple of years because I like it so much. The Captain.
It's got Abraham Lincoln in the corner, so kids, you know it's hip.
And it's and look how sad he is. He's sad Braham Lincoln.
Apparently these colors do bleed.
Ouch. Painful stuff.
Very sad.
Ouch.
Cap. Sad Cap. Oh, well. Yeah, that's right in time for 4th of July. We've got 4th of July weekend coming up. So, kids, read yourself a comic with Sad Cap. Nothing is more patriotic.
Sad Cap. Sad Braham Lincoln.
Sad Braham Lincoln, absolutely. Well, now that we've described a comic book, it's now time to describe some stories from our favorite gal pal, our senior news correspondent. So without further delay, Madam Webb, take it away.
Now it's time for Madam Webb's Rumors and News. Take it away, boys.
Thank you, Madam Webb. Oh my goodness. Once again, we might have another clue eventually of your appearance, Madam Webb, but I think I'm going to save that, because I think we need to, tease some things out there. But all I will say is, do you like petticoats?
Do you like big butts and you cannot lie? Okay, very good.
Audience, if you like petticoats, you're in for a treat.
At the junction. First story off. I like this because the wife and I absolutely love WB/the CW Smallville. It's the 20th anniversary of that show this fall, which is insane. Completely insane. But yeah, this was a story that gave us a young Clark Kent and all things extraordinarily Canadian, because it was filmed in British Columbia and had a lot of the same people that later showed up on Battlestar Galactica. But yeah, actor Tom Welling, who actually went to high school right here in Michigan, Okemos High School, Lansing area. I believe graduated with my college girlfriend, Bree Fowler. So talk about 6 degrees of Tom Welling between yours truly. But yeah, it's been revealed that he and former co-star Michael Rosenbaum, who is, of course, Lex Luthor, probably my favorite Lex Luthor ever, have teamed up to develop a Smallville animated sequel series. Now, we did see Clark in the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover in the Flareoverse 2 years ago, Todd? Last year?
Yeah.
Was it early last year? I can't remember.
No, it was
2019.
It was the year before.
But,
it was 2019.
Yeah. As our heroes were bopping around various Earths, we found out that they went to the Smallville Earth. You get to see, Clark aged appropriately. He revealed that he and Lois have settled on the farm. He's given up his powers, and he spars with John Cryer as Lex Luthor within that scene. So this is awesome. The thing that the thing that's really a big ouch is if you scroll down, is a cast member who probably won't be coming back will be Elson Mack, who was convicted of helping run the NXIVM sex cult. So she's probably gonna be in jail. So, oh well.
Well, maybe it's animated, Charlie, they can do this before she joined the sex cult, and that can be the villain they have to take down.
I'm saying is how are they going to get her dubs from prison? That's the issue. Yeah, she was arrested for racketeering in 2018, and her sentencing is slated for next week. Oh my God, she's going to get sentenced next week. So yeah, that NXIVM, that Todd, if you've ever watched that's some trippy shit.
Apparently, there's 2 documentaries about that thing. There's 2 of them.
You
watch both?
Yeah,
okay, cool. Yeah, I've been intrigued to watch one of them.
Because one of them's on Hulu, and I think the other one might be on Showtime or something. So at least watch the one that's on Hulu. It'll blow you. It'll rock your flipping Yankee blue jeans. It's crazy.
Gotta love it. And I was gonna say, on this animated version, obviously CW owned partially by Warner Brothers, owned partially by CBS. It's a weird mixture of network synergy. You basically make it a sequel, so it's kind of could take place right after he donned the cape and the boots and started fighting and having adventures. So I think that would be the perfect time to take place, and that was 15 years ago, anyways. So
that show ended in 2011, so 10.
Oh, okay, 10 years.
Yeah,
so yeah,
so have on for 10, and it's been off for 10. Yeah.
Yeah, so lots of adventures you could actually have him do, and it's voice acting, so the commitment's pretty low scale compared to live action. So I like this idea; it's very cool. And if it's enough steam, it could go on HBO Max because once again, the Warner Brothers.
Keep it maxi. All right, what we got
Absolutely.
next?
All right. So story number 2 makes me very happy, and I know and this is very prescient, Charlie, because uh, we had a discussion about prequels and side stories, and do they really have a place, or are they always horrible, or could they even be better? You didn't even ask me what I wanted, and actually I was going to mention
Right.
John Winchester and his adventures before the boys came along. He and his wife, and they've done flashbacks to them when they first he and his wife first started dating, and kind of they've just done like 2 episodes of that. But I thought, why not? It's essentially John Winchester was rarely ever in the series. He was just in there really the first season, and then obviously went along, became Negan, and was in different things. I think Boardwalk Empire he was in. So so I think this would be great to have a basically how John Winchester developed his book, and that gave the boys their guide and did those type of things, because that's something we really didn't get a lot of background on. So once again, it's not giving me an origin story of something I don't care about. It's giving me another part of that family that we really didn't get enough of, because I think it was the actor's script or the actor's contract or everything, or he had a very light contract, and that was never going to be the focus of the show anyway. So, but really, we're talking about Jensen Ackles is basically co-producing a prequel about John and Mary Winchester and kind of their adventures. Apparently, Jared Padalecki was a little angry about this because he was not told about it.
Little myth,
yeah. And then they had a beef, and eventually, I guess they finally hugged and made up. And even the creator of the show, Eric Kripke, who left after 5 years, he's blessed this. So I think this is pretty cool. And what we're hearing now is that Misha Collins, who plays Castiel, an angel, who's essentially ageless, potentially is teasing that he could be in the series as well. So there's a lot of good things about this, and the fact that Supernatural was like one of the longest running shows, like 15 years for a drama with genre elements, it's really unheard of. And the fact that it never had a successful spinoff while the show was active just really boggles my mind. MASH had After MASH, Trapper John MD, a few others. Happy Days had Laverne and Shirley and Mork and Mindy.
Totally
what is it? Yeah.
Different.
So many of them, Facts of Life, Different Strokes created Facts of Life. So the fact that we never had that, kind of crazy. So I'm excited about this. I would love it if it happened. And after a couple of years break from Supernatural after it ended, I think it's the right time.
Good stuff. Yeah, this is one I think this was one that April liked, and she fell off it, and I think she finally finished it on Netflix. And I've seen a handful of the episodes over the time, so I would be interested to see if that sparks the interest in her to start watching it again. So, but Todd, it's a prequel.
But I said, if it tells a story about a character that was didn't have a long running story arc, or never really got to tell more, you never got to see tales really with them. He was never the focus of the show. He was always part of
like Boba Fett. Like Boba Fett was.
He's kind of like Boba. Well, because it was always like their dad was always somewhere, and they had to find their dad. It was trying to find the dad. They never really did. So it was kind of like that was the what is it? Oh God, I'm thinking of the red herring, not the red herring, but just the thing that keeps you searching, because you want to find dad. We got to find him.
The carrot on the stick. The carrot on the stick.
Yes. So there you go. So in that case, I think it could be interesting, but you're right. I typically don't like prequels because they're telling you things you don't really need to know. And we know very little about John Winchester. That's some of the mystery, kind of like Wolverine, but it could be cool. I don't know. I could be wrong and just watch one episode and it sucks.
You may be wrong. I may be right. Well, one thing that I think I'm not wrong about is this next story. You want to believe that there are no original ideas, that everything in comics is very cyclical. So every 10 to 15 to 20 years, you're going to get the exact same stuff again. Well, it was not even 5 years ago in the Spider-Man comics that we had the clone conspiracy. Okay, so we had there was a clone of Ben Reilly that survived, and he built up this resistance, and then he stole the Jackal's identity, and he created clones of everyone in Peter Parker's life that had ever died so that they could live again, and it was a whole bad scene. And in the end of it, I'm not even sure. I know that Ben Reilly escaped, and he had his own comic for a while, so on and so forth. However, there is teases, as you were in the last week or so, all over Twitter, that it could be looking like Ben Reilly could be returning as he did in the mid 90s to take over the role completely, because in that case Peter Parker retired. He and Mary Jane went off to, and she was pregnant, they went off to live in Portland, Oregon, and he was Spider-Man, and he was living in New York, and he dyed his hair blonde, and he worked in a coffee shop because Friends was on at the same time, and it was very sick, it was very, very much kind of a product of the time. So yeah, the official Spider-Man Twitter account is buzzing with these. Nick Spencer is leaving Spider-Man, which is probably not a great scene because he's been on the comic forever. But yeah, hinting about that in September's 80-page Amazing Spider-Man 74. And Todd, I know how much you love legacy numbering. This is milestone 875th issue. And I will admit that I have dropped off reading monthly comics entirely, and I've explained it on the show that I had gotten so far behind on subscriptions I got that I just said, you know what, I'm going to catch up, and then I'm going to be a lifetime subscriber to Marvel Unlimited, and it's only 3 months behind, and I'll read it that way. So this really does not fire me up. And maybe this is the whole reason that I'm just not really fired up to keep up with comics, though I do keep up with the Star Wars comics because of co-hosting the Holocrime Chronicles on this network with Mark. But I'm really burned up, Todd. I know you're not a monthly reader of comics right now either, and I would assume the reasons are probably somewhat similar.
Yeah, it's these characters that live forever. There are good runs and bad runs. There are good stories and bad stories. So it just depends if you find lightning in a bottle. Sometimes you find that creative team that just is like everything they do is magic. Then you find another one. It's like good writer, bad artist, or great artist, bad writer. And it's like, okay, just point me in the right direction of the best stories. And I want to read those versus every issue, because I think that's more important than knowing that issue 762 was the first appearance of John Garfield, who also was was present at the death of Gwen Stacy. I don't know, that kind of stuff. Kind of doesn't really matter. It doesn't
Could have
really.
been.
Yeah, yeah. Like X-Men right now, I know kind of what's going on. So I have a hint of it, and I'm like, I just need somebody to point me in the right direction of what's worth reading, because there's so much that it's just like, I don't want to waste my time on the crap because there's too much crap. And there's just so little good. So I'm going to go after that. I'm going to try to hunt for the best stories, rather than be a completionist. I think that will make me a happier reader versus a keeping up with the Joneses and, piles of comics. Now my digital backlog is out of sight, out of mind, so it doesn't bother me as much.
I mean, I did the same thing, and I talked in recent episodes about how I took all the comics I had and I sold them at a flea market, and the vast majority of them are gone, and I'm very happy about it because I have Marvel Unlimited. It was Todd. I got my special Marvel Unlimited Plus introductory box yesterday that had a Kamala Khan Spider-Man style figure that I'm selling on eBay because it's going for big.
Charlie, we have a video podcast now. You can show.
It's not handy unless you want me to actually get up and go get it. So yeah, so with Marvel Unlimited, I'll be a lifer for that. I'll get that little subscription box every year and have the whatever. And then that's just how I'm going to read comics, because the hustle and bustle of ordinary life, I'm not that engaged with it. And again, the stories, when it comes to feel like they don't really matter, you're stuck. So it's going to be very rare that I'm going to buy something. Like, I know I love that Spider-Man life story that came out a couple years ago, and they're doing a version of it for the Fantastic Four. That I might buy because I'm interested. It's a one shot. It's a contained story, and I'm interested, and I really want to read it as it comes out. So, but other than that, stuff like this just doesn't blow my skirt up.
And that's how it goes. Yeah, I mean, it just becomes a scenario where if you are interested in Marvel Unlimited, it's very affordable, and it makes it there. And if it's like, you didn't like it, you didn't waste any money. So, except for the $5 a month or whatever it costs you. So, yeah, check it out. Ben Reilly, he's a clone, but he's never alone, because you've always got another one hanging around.
I think I'm a clone now.
Absolutely. Well, next story, we got essentially what I guess you would call it, like as they release trailers for movies, they usually have the teaser, they have the full trailer, and they have like the story trailer. So Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings got his, I guess you'd call this the story trailer, which was more of an expansion of the story of Shang-Chi and basically about how he grew up, how he was raised, and essentially he was escaping his past, but he's always brought back into it, and we find out his father is essentially the Mandarin, and the rings are used to basically he's using them for a crime ring, and at this point,
No pun intended. Ooh.
yeah, and at this point, I'm not 100% sure why Shang-Chi is brought back, if it's he wants him to take over for him or something else happens. So we're going to find that out. But as we see this go along, we get to see more of some story beats that are kind of surprising. And Charlie, as we were watching this, people have talked about, like, is that what I think it is? And it was.
It totally was. Absolutely.
We see in a cage match, you always have one of those underground fighting rings. You got to have it. It's like one of the tropes of everything.
Every movie. I'm sure that there was one in Gandhi, at least in the deleted scenes, or maybe
Gandhi too.
Maybe The Sound of Music. You got to see her throw down, or something like. I mean, absolutely, it's a must. It's got to be done.
Absolutely, because you need money, you need an informant, you got to pass along that you're tough, get hired or something, get some betting money. Well, in this we see Shang-Chi is taking on the Abomination, and Marvel has confirmed this, and I'm like, that is so weird, because at the end of the last Hulk film, I don't remember even what happened to him. It was just knocked out and taken away.
He was knocked out, taken away. There was a lot of behind the scenes that he was incarcerated, and there was he was in the top secret RAF facility or something like that. But he's never been seen since the Incredible Hulk in 2008. So yeah, that's a character that has had no. You don't know what happened with him during anything. So yeah, but who knows? Maybe this will just end up being a tease as well. The dragon I knew about, which was the other piece that you had here, because there's figures out of him right now. Legos and Marvel Legends and kid stuff. So
is that is that Wish? Is that the Wish Dragon Falcor from Neverending Story?
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was the Wish Dragon from Wish. It'll turn green. It'll turn your finger green.
Oh no.
I know, it's a bummer. It's a real bummer.
Yeah, it's not really Jade. Jade-like.
Right. Not Jade like the movie with David Caruso. God, I hope.
No. What is that? The first forbidden fruit, Jade. I don't know. Making it all up. But Fang Foom is not in the film, is what they're saying.
Oh,
this is just a dragon. But they did show other mystical creatures, like you think of like the Asian lion. You see their statues. So I like that there's some mysticism in this, along with the martial arts, things like that, which then layers on more of that element that we got with Doctor Strange. So this is once again Marvel just doing something completely new, something completely different, and we'll see if this pays out, because once again he's a hero that I would say most Marvel fans aren't really aware of, and most movie watchers have never even heard of this cat. And it was funny, we even talked about this. He had a comic book that ran for 189 issues. That's pretty impressive.
It just blows my mind, because again, it's just never been on my radar, because it's just not really something that I dig on. But Marvel they haven't had a duffer of a film. Even when their films aren't great, they're still good.
Yeah, they're enjoyable. I mean, some will not flip your socks off. Some will just be, it was fun.
Thor: Dark World, Doctor Strange for me anyway, and this one, they may fall lower into the rotation, but yeah, it's going to be something. And Todd, it'll get you ramped up for the Eternals.
Yay! I wonder if we'll find out, if we'll see like an Eternal in the background hiding away and not interfering with humans. Wouldn't that be fun?
Just one. Can it be? Can it be? What's his butt? My favorite one, the comedian.
Yes, Sudeikis. Sudeikis. I don't know. The guy from Adrian Pistachio. Pimento from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh my god. Oh no. Anyway, moving on. What else?
Well, I was going to say the only thing that would make this even better if you saw a Lockjaw walking around in the background looking very sad, and just being sad about the Inhumans. Maybe that's who it was.
Yes.
We don't know.
Right, exactly. Oh my God, I told you we did finally watch that in Humans, and oh my God, shoestring budget.
Euron Greyjoy, not Euron Greyjoy. It was Theon Greyjoy. Oh my God, not Theon.
Right.
It was no. Oh God, I'm
No, it's
blanking on his name.
Richard
Ramsay
Madden.
Bolton.
He was, yeah.
Ramsay Bolton.
Is it? Oh yeah, he was the villain, but in the Eternals, it's the Red Wedding guy. The
Ramsay Bolton.
No, Stark. He was a Stark. Got killed. It was his Red Wedding. Who was
Robb
he?
Stark.
Robb Stark. Robb with 2 B's.
No, Ramsay Bolton was the bad guy in this. In Humans. Yeah. You didn't recognize him because he wasn't using a sausage. Oh well. Look for that coming up. I believe September is going to be a big movie. Marvel has never had a September MCU film, so that's kind of a great time because nothing big is coming at that time. So this could be a big film to end the summer. Or did Guardians of the Galaxy come out like late August originally?
Early August. Definitely August, but I believe it was early August. Yeah.
Gotcha. Same thing there. Yeah, this is actually, it's funny, in our movie league, Charlie, we're talking about this. This movie is the last weekend of our summer league, and we're like thinking, could this be big enough to like make the top 10? We'll see. That'd be crazy.
It depends on if actual movie going gains momentum throughout the summer.
Well, it should have the biggest audience available because hopefully by that point kids are vaccinated too. But we'll see.
Right.
More on that when we do our breakdown of that after Labor Day. So more to come there. And then we've got another story, and our last story actually, that is a series that is near and dear to, well, not even a series, it's a movie that's near and dear to my heart because it was one of the last films I saw with my dad when he was healthy enough to actually enjoy a film. And he obviously was a big Star Trek fan. So because of that and just taking the comedic bent on Star Trek is something we hadn't really seen before, and they just nailed it. Great cast, great writing, just a great concept, and they didn't milk it more than they needed to, and it's essentially been gone out of most people's radar for almost 22 years now. But Galaxy Quest, apparently Simon Pegg is behind an attempt to bring it back, which would be very interesting. And as a television series, which I love the idea, but I worry that the Orville might have beat it to the punch in a worse way.
But the Orville in a worse way, yeah, because the Orville floundered, you know what I mean? And it was just more of the same with Seth Green. Where do they say this is going to land?
Good question. I don't think they've even really done more than talk about this. I mean, this might be just a getcha headline. This came from trekmovie.com. So, do they do well with non-Trek rumors in news, Charlie?
Yeah, say that one more time.
So do they do well with non-Star Trek rumors and news? Or is it like...
trekmovie.com. I don't post things that aren't at least quasi-credible rumors. I'll put it to you that way. Yeah, no, I believe it. Trekmovie.com is about the only source we use for Code 47. And this is a story I'll probably also have over there because of Simon Pegg's involvement.
Yeah, but apparently there's no other details about this, but apparently he's interested. Apparently Paul Scheer was supposed to be involved at one point. A lot of other people have been involved. They talked to, so a lot of this is just kind of like maybe wish fulfillment that people want it to happen. But, they're going to have to eventually get around to this because this is going to be like generations for Galaxy Quest because they're all going to be so old.
I know. Yes, exactly. So, yes, keep it young and keep it sillier.
Yeah, unless it's like one of those, unless it becomes like one of those like, well, now we're rebooting the series and here's the new cast, kind of one of those things like a Star Trek would do, this is or the next generation of Galaxy Quest, which could be interesting or could be horrible. I don't know. Maybe it's a one done. Maybe we should be happy and, live with our memories.
Live with our memories.
Buy Grabthar hammers. That's a value.
What a savings!
That's so good. So good. Alan Rickman. Harry Potter.
Mr. Potter.
Yes. Okay. Well, that is it for the news of the week. But now, Charlie, it's time for us to go over, get a nightcap at the Geek Easy.
Talk nerdy to me. Talk nerdy to me.
We're sitting in the Geek Easy, the cover band's playing, drinks are poured, and we are ready to get our nerd on. Well, folks, we did not record on Wednesday last week So we missed Loki. So we are now on episode 3, essentially at the mid-season break of Loki, which is so weird because that's very short. 6 episodes may be too short because of the pacing of this series. It's not exactly breakneck. It is taking its time developing characters, and I don't know overall what our end game is per se.
But it's kind of exciting, isn't it?
It
Don't you
kind of
think?
is. It kind of is. And at this point, we are now in a buddy cop film in a second,
Yep.
basically midnight run almost,
Right.
where the two antagonists have to team up to essentially escape their demise because they've gone onto this, like, I guess a way they've found to basically not get found is go to a place that gets destroyed and essentially you cannot be tracked. And it's all about them trying to survive and get off this planet. I'm very happy that they actually went to like a place that wasn't just like, oh, it's Kansas or it's another Earth town. I'm glad they were actually using the universe rather than just it's the Earth again. Yay!
Yay, Earth!
Like in the Masters of the Universe film, where we're on Eternia, but that place is boring. Let's go to Kansas. Nobody wants to go to Kansas. Nobody likes that stuff. So we're on this journey. We're really getting to know our the new secondary character, I would say, at this point. And it's really interesting. I mean, there's a lot of theories, and I have a couple of theories. I mean, first, we talked about Kang, Charlie, at one point, but I don't know if this is Kang now. I'm thinking where this is going to end, and this is just my conjecture. I've not heard anything, but what I think is going to happen is out of this will be the multiverse will be established, and our female Loki, Sylphie, Loki, ends up becoming what we'll know as the Enchantress.
Right, Aurora the Enchantress.
Yes.
She's going to have to let that hair grow and wear a little bit less clothing, but that's funny. Johnny and I were talking about Amanda Seyfried recently, who is one of John's hall pass ladies. He says, "Well, if you were to put her in the MCU, who would she be?" And the Enchantress was my first choice.
Really?
I think
Amanda Seyfried has those buggy, weird eyes and kind of spooks me out. And she doesn't have that it. She's too.
The hell are you talking about?
Amanda Seyfried, dude, she looks very like for a celebrity, very bookish, very unassuming, just very much.
Really? Because
she's no Salma Hayek. Compare her to Salma Hayek, like
John and I were talking. We were talking about her because she played Linda Lovelace in the Linda Lovelace movie, The Deep Throat Star. So that kind of spurned the conversation in that direction. But to each their own. I understand.
She's very thin and wispy, is what I would say. So not a lot there on the bone. Where I think of the Enchantress as almost like a ginger from Gilligan's Island. Very sultry, things like that. She's more of a Pepper Potts than
And
she's a Pepper Potts.
And now you're putting down Goop herself.
Goop,
This some big talking.
Gooping it up, man. That's what I do. I goop it up. But yeah, I mean, so at this point, really, like you said, like we know there's a plan now, essentially to take down the Time Authority, and at this point, we still don't know who they are, how this is all going to run its course. I'm assuming all the characters will get back together, hopefully by next episode, because I'd like to see where they're going to mix things up. So, what the big reveal is, where this is going to land, because it feels like this series has the most weight for where the future of the MCU is going, more so than anything else. So that's where I'm like, man, where are they going to land in 3 episodes?
That's the adventure, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's the adventure. They're doing something very different where it's not vectored towards a predictable finish.
Sure. Yeah. It's just being so short. Yeah, it's just being so short. It means they've got a lot left to do in 3 episodes. So I don't want it to be one of those things where, they get to that last episode and like, oh, we've got 3 hours of story to tell in an hour. Oh, crap.
Or a half an hour. Yeah. It's the Star Trek Voyager. Let's solve it in the last 10 minutes. Yeah. I got you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, I've been thoroughly enjoying it. And Tom Hiddleston's such a great actor, such a great character with Loki. So glad we get to revisit his role. Because this is kind of a pseudo prequel, right, Charlie, or a side story?
Well, if you think about that Loki that we're dealing with got plucked out of 2012, he's from the past, but the entire series is taking place outside of time. So it's none of those things.
An unquill.
It's a null quill.
There we
It's
go.
null.
We'll keep coming up with these $1 million ideas and nobody will pay us for it. Oh well.
I love it. That sounds
No,
great. I like it.
Yeah. So we'll get episode 4 tomorrow when we wake up bright and
Yes.
early.
Yes,
So it
indeed.
should be fun. Charlie will tell you about it at 4:00 in the morning because he's an early riser.
Well, 5:55.
Yes. Then we, you talked about seeing A Quiet Place 2 in theater. I had never seen it, so luckily
the first one.
Yes, my library had A Quiet Place, so I got the Blu-ray. And, I don't know why I didn't watch this earlier. This movie was fantastic. Really blown away by it. Really enjoyed it. I thought the filmmaking was very brave to do something where essentially no dialogue, a mix of sign language and just mouthing. Sound was used very sparingly. And using one of the lead actresses was a deaf actress, and I really dug the movie, and I would say this: it's not a scary movie; it's more of a thriller, because I don't think I was ever really scared. It was just I was at the it's one of those, oh crap, I know what's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's like you're at the edge of your seat because it's very just building that anticipation, and it just really, especially with kids and and all those pieces, you're like, there's a lot at stake here. So and I thought all the actors did a fantastic job in trying to work some different acting muscles rather than just being loud or wacky. So I really enjoyed it. Now I will say the only thing I was getting so mad, I'm like, dag nabbit, Charlie, what are they doing when they put kids in a movie? The kids essentially were responsible for everything bad going wrong.
They're gonna get into some business, and it's not gonna be good business.
And the nail on the steps is all I will say. I'm like, cover that nail up.
Could have saw it coming a mile away.
That's like one of the worst things in the world. Like, oh, she's gonna step on it. Ow!
I know, just like in Home Alone, it's bad stuff. No, I don't. Obviously, we saw that movie back when, and
Like 2 years ago.
We didn't have the presence of mind to see it again, so it was seeing the second film. Did you go out and see the second film yet?
Not yet. I'll wait. It's going to be on Paramount Plus on July 17th. So.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I can play. Yeah.
It was not hard to catch up. Because it's not like it was this super layered deep plot to figure it out. But I thought the second one was enjoyable as well. So I think
that's what I've heard. Good things, like it's different enough, right? That's what I've heard. So, and I've heard they've changed the protagonist kind of in this movie, so that makes it kind of interesting. So,
yes.
I haven't been spoiled on it yet, but I am interested. And like I said, it was coming to Paramount Plus, which is very cool. 45 days after it's in the theaters, coming there as well, which is kind of a nice mix. So really not having many movies that won't be on a streaming service less than 6 months, which is kind of crazy. Because I think is Black Widow 3 months or 6 months?
I don't know. I know obviously it's a bit with the premium access, it's available immediately with paying those extra bucks. But yeah, I don't know when that'll show up. That is a good question.
Perfect. Okay, well that's it for me this week.
All right, and dancing on over, we spent our time at the movies this week, and and we did immerse ourselves in the Fast and Furious movies. Now, this is one, it's not like I'd never seen one before. My mom really likes them, so I know that we owned one of them because she gave us a code. I think we had 8, so it was then left to us. The first 2 were on HBO, and then we pieced together the rest of them from the library that we still haven't seen 6. So this was 9. This is F9. And let me tell you, there's no discernible difference between any of these films, any of them.
I have an F9 on my keyboard. I have an F9 on my keyboard, Charlie. Is it the same thing?
Well, I'm looking. Wait, this will tell you how many films are going to be. So there's an F10, an F11, and an F12. So they're going to end it at 12, I think, because it's not easy to quantify. But anyway.
And then they'll reboot.
Right, back to F1. They'll reboot, recast. But anyway, these films follow no convention. They follow no logic, no wisdom, no storyline potential, no anything at all. But in this movie, we do learn that our hero, Dom Toretto, who lives his life a quarter mile at a time, and there's nothing more important than family. April wants to start the when someone says the word family drinking game, but I don't want to die of alcohol poisoning, so we're not going to do that. There was a great meme I saw this morning that was Anakin Skywalker from Star Wars Episode 3 flying a ship, and he looks over and Dom's driving next to him, and he's like, Dom, how are you in space? And Dom just says, you don't need logic when you got family. You know it's true. So the rumors are true. A 1980s era Pontiac, is it Fiero or Fiesta?
Oh, Fiero. Yeah, you know that Steve Roski's dad worked at the Fiero factory making Fieros in Pontiac, Michigan.
Maybe he made this one because it
might have been their Fiero because they owned a Fiero and they eventually sold it off, which is a big tragedy.
This one went into space. This one went into space. I'm sorry for the plot point, though that particular plot point had been circulating. Anyway, it's the epitome of dumb fun. Because theaters are sparsely populated, and April and I were there at like a 3:45 show last Friday. We were able to heckle it somewhat openly, and we had a great time, and that's all you really need out of a movie like this. A couple days before that, we went to go see The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. And I know we saw the first one. Now, this is Ryan Reynolds and Sam Jackson, who is looking... He's kind of getting to the Harrison Ford age of shouldn't be in action movies anymore.
He's like 60 years old, 65, something like that.
No, look it up. I bet he is in his mid to late 60s. If I was to hazard a guess, he's not a spring chicken. And Salma Hayek still.
He's 3 years younger than my mother. Wow, okay. Wow, that puts him at like 70. Oh, at this point, 73.
He's older than my mother. Wow.
And can she be in action films, Charlie? Give the man a break.
Not after the fact that she just recently had heart surgery. I don't think so. But no, this movie was super farcical. And I can't remember for the life of me if the first movie was really this ridiculous. But this movie was ridiculous. The main through line of this movie is Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool in this movie because he can't be hurt. He gets hit by a car, he gets exploded, he gets shot in the chest with a shotgun. Nothing ever slows him, and he never changes his bloody clothes either. I mean, he's just unstoppable in this film. So
again, is he the bodyguard?
No,
or is he the hitman?
He's the bodyguard, and Sam Jackson is the hitman, making Salma Hayek the wife. And
wow.
There's a twist at the end that's completely riculous.
So I can't wait. This sounds like that one movie, the whole 9 yards with like yeah.
It was a week of foolishness. So I don't know when that streak is going to end. I think we're going to on Thursday night we pre-ordered because we did subscribe to the VIP thing.
I was going to say you've got like the movie pass or whatever. So yeah.
So we can see 3 movies a week. So we're going to see the new Purge movie on Thursday.
Apparently, it's not going to be the last one either, Charlie.
Those movies always come out. It's a 4th of July thing. That is their niche. So yeah, and it's called Purge, like it's like Purge, not Purge America, but like Purge the Frontier or something that takes place in the Old West. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. It's stupid. All we're seeing is stupid movies right now, and we're okay with it. Embrace
because there was nothing out for how many months?
Exactly. So I'm okay.
Might as well get your money's worth and enjoy it. Yeah.
But friends, I would say, you know what? Support your local theaters. They're small businesses too, for the most part. At least the one that we go to is here in West Michigan, because they suffered just like all the rest of us did, employment wise, and they're trying to make it. So go give them your money if you have it to give, and just enjoy the stupid.
Oh yeah, and that reminds me, my son wanted to see a movie. So while Grandma's here, we will probably go see a movie with him now that he's fully vaccinated. So good times. All right, well, that takes us out of the Geek Easy. But then, Charlie, we're not done with our sightseeing. Now it's time for us to get in a plane, hopefully not get assaulted, and go to the Thunderdome.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to another edition of Thunderdome!
Thank you, Tina! The mutants have been gathered for a topic or a game to be entertained. And this week, we have actually a SFU Discord member, Chris from 1 Hour 1 Decision podcast, gave us a topic. Thank you, Chris. And that would be, he wanted us to do some casting on some basically future Marvel projects that just have not been announced yet. We've got Fantastic Four, which we know there's a movie coming, but that's it. And then we have the X-Men that we know will be coming. But right now, we've got to assume they're not going to, double dip on any actors that played those roles before. So we did find some source material that we're going to use to guide us through this, because sometimes you just can't think off the
I
top
like
of your
this.
head. So we're going to do this. So
Right.
so let's go. So Charlie, I think we'll start with the Fantastic Four, because they have been out of the limelight since, well, we won't count the last outing, but
No shit, we're
which
not.
I've never
And
seen
I
still.
was the one that took it. I was the one who took the bullet and watched that stupid shit.
Yeah. So
yeah, no, but this is the one I would say I'm absolutely the most excited about. But yeah, you're right. We had the Fox versions, 2005, 2007, which people really rank on them, but for what they were, despite the fact that Galactus was a friggin' cloud, which is like. Chris Evans was great as Johnny Storm. Chickless was fantastic as the Thing, and
the other two were
as Mr. Fantastic. Yeah,
they're bland.
Well, they were bland but passable. But yeah, those two really lit it up. I totally agree. But anyway, obviously Marvel's going to do it. Disney and the MCU, they're going to do this. It's going to be great, and so. There's a list of 10 casting choices, which obviously includes the core team. And
we'll go through the top 10 here, and we'll if we agree or disagree, or if you have a different one, Charlie, we'll just start there. So top 10 is number 10 is the Super Skrull, which made me think that's we're gonna probably get a Super Skrull with everything that's going to go on with Secret Invasion, everything like that. And I have an idea of the Super Skrull in my head, but I just don't know if there's if he's more of like a dumb tough guy, if he's like over the top like Patrick Warburton, that kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. I mean, but he's not really comedic. Like I think of Patrick Warburton, I think of comedy. But yeah, I always loved the Super Skrull. This was a Skrull with obviously regular Skrull abilities, but also imbued with a fraction of the power of each of the member of the team. So he was always the one that could fight them all at once because he was all of them. So great character, great standalone character. He could, he could team up. He could be on his own. He would just be fantastic. But they had no recommendation here, which is fine, I guess. But still, that would be one I would absolutely want to see.
Yeah, I mean, and really, since it's going to be someone in makeup, it really doesn't really matter. But the voice really will matter. So I could see like a Patrick Warburton, just that booming, that super important type of voice. I think could be interesting. But you could have anybody with a very melodramatic voice. Could be really, really, really fun. Yeah, or maybe even like a Jason Bateman, just sarcastic. Maybe, I don't know. Could be fun.
Yeah, Jason Bateman, I can see that. Number 9 is Namor, and this is great. This is from Agent Zero from your favorite X-Men movie, Todd. This would be actor Daniel Henney, paying Mr. Speedo with the wings. I could see that pulling off, but nothing else really springs to mind for me.
I would pick just because I love Scream Queens and I loved how pompous of a character this guy played, but he played a character named Chad Redwell. Popping collars like a frat guy. Chad Michael Murray. He would be fantastic in this role. Yeah.
It seems like he could also be really great as Johnny Storm.
That would be another great. Yeah. I mean, so we could interchange them, whatever, but I think he would be great because he just has that presence of, God, you're such a jerk. Because Namor is the biggest jerk. I mean, he tries to steal Reed's wife, and he's got like no redeeming characteristics.
He was a prick across two teams because he was on the Avengers for the longest time.
The Defenders.
And just recently, there was another damn Atlantis war. So he's always getting into shit. But number 8 is an easy one. You have Annihilus, who is the dude who he either rules the negative zone or he's a big shot in the negative zone. But Andy Serkis, who can be literally anyone.
He hams it up. He can really just get into that love it and hate it, worm kind of guy,
Right. And his previous role as Ulysses Klaue was killed off, so he is available.
And it's not going to be his face anyways. Annihilus, he's going to wear, it's going to be CGI'd. So, but yeah, and the man's a man of 1,000 voices and faces, and he does such good motion capture. I'm all down with this. Why not? It works. Definitely works.
Exactamundo. So next, this is unfortunately some fan casting that's been shot to hell because Kang the Conqueror is already going to be a character in the Quantumania, Quantarania Batman film. But I agree with this choice because who doesn't love Mark Strong? He's a heavy. He was Dr. Savannah in Shazam. He was just in that Cruella movie that we watched.
He played Sinestro.
The
yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was exactly. So he would have been a great heavy, but I'm sure the dude that they have lined up to play Kang will be fantastic. This next choice, troublesome.
Oh,
Could it be cursed?
this is not
actor is
this is
cursed?
not happening at all. Army Hammer cast as Victor Von Doom ain't happening. That dude is now checked into like sex rehab. He likes biting
he's
people.
very toxic.
He's very oh god, dude. He's like he. I won't go in it, but he's very gross. I'm like, oh my god, keep your skeletons in the closet. Oh my god. So it's not going to be Army
Right.
Hammer. So I would think now, Charlie. I think I've got one. Rainn Wilson. Dwight Schrute.
Rainn Wilson as Victor Von
Just
Doom.
think that self-important, overbearing. I think it's a perfect casting because he's gonna have a mask on anyways.
Well, look at him as Harry Mudd.
Oh, absolutely.
In Discovery in the short tracks. He was fantastic. Yeah. So, all right, I'll allow it. Number 5 is spot on, though, and he's already an MCU talent, but again, a dead character. Sterling K. Brown as the Silver Surfer. Lawrence Fishburne was the Silver Surfer in The Rise of the Silver Surfer in 2007. I think he was one of the brightest spots of that movie just because he's a phenomenal actor. But Sterling K. Brown, certainly pre-COVID, I thought he was the Samuel L. Jackson of this generation. He was just in everything.
Yeah.
He was in a TV show. He was in this movie. He was in that movie. He was dude never stopped working.
Well, he's in the what is that? Just Us or what's that show? The crying show.
This is the crying show. My wife watches it. The crying show.
Didn't somebody die because of a faulty crock pot? That's the whole premise.
Yes, it was. Well, it was Milo. You know the actor.
Milo Ventimiglia from Heroes. Yes.
Yeah, that's the dude. Yeah. He died because of an exploding crack pot or some shit. Sterling K. Brown.
Oh my god.
Yeah, why, what was the ridiculous death in Dallas?
Well, they had plenty of them.
Somebody
I
fell in the
mean,
pool?
yeah. So some plenty of deaths that were bad in that show.
I guess. Anyway, number 4.
Oh, well, I'm just gonna say, I
idea who this dude
think
is.
just bring Doug Jones back to do the motion capture. He did a great job in the first one, and Sterling does the voice. I'm fine with that. Replaces Morpheus.
Well, speaking of motion capture, and I guess this really got ruined in the 2015 quote unquote movie, is character of Ben Grimm the Thing. Who is Chris Messina?
He is like a British guy, I believe. I don't know. I know nothing about him, but I don't know if he's a great choice.
Yeah, I don't. It's just Chiklis nailed it. He nailed it as Ben Grimm. He nailed it as the Thing. He was in a suit, but he wasn't a big CGI monster. And the Thing certainly could be, because he's large, but he's not as big as the Hulk. The Hulk is like anywhere between 9 and 11 feet tall, and Ben Grimm is maybe person height, but wider, I guess, because you see him drawn. He's like, he's really, really wide, but he's not necessarily big. So,
hear me out.
Yeah,
Seth Rogen.
Yes.
Seth Rogen.
Moving on. What do you think? What do you think about this next choice? This is the Teen Wolf kid.
Yeah, I don't know. Johnny Storm, Dylan O'Brien. They've picked. I don't think so. To your point, I think we need someone that has the gravitas of a real frat boy kind of, but with a heart of gold, that type of feel. And I'm just trying to think of like who fits that mold these days. And once again, I talked about Chad Michael Murray. He could play that character, but I mean, is there anybody else that kind of fits that? Who would have been great back in the day, but Stifler.
Sean Patrick Scott.
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
He had 3 first names. It was something like that. Yes, absolutely. But like you said, back in the day. But interesting 1-2 punch for Reed and Sue.
Oh, I love this pick.
What do you think?
I love this pick.
What do you think about these two picks?
I love Kristen
I
Bell.
I'm totally on board.
She is so good, so talented. I mean, I loved her in The Good Place. She's been fantastic in so many things, obviously in Frozen. So, and she's got that punchy personality that I think Sue Storm needs to combat Mr. Reed Richards.
And Mr. Reed Richards, another great choice. Kristen Bell, by the way, from Michigan. Southeast Michigan, Metro Detroit. Adam Scott, don't know where he's from, would be the choice for Reed Richards. And here's a great dude, great pedigree. He's got a geek background. One of his first roles was a walk-on in Star Trek First Contact. He was the guy at the helm of the Defiant, if you can believe it, who got to talk to Worf while the ship was blowing up. But we've loved him in Parks and Rec. We've loved him in comedic roles like Step Brothers, where he's the obnoxious brother. He's just fantastic. I just love him. I can't, it was for years and years, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt as Reed and Sue and da-da-da-da-da. And I don't know. Do you think making a choice like that, where you have two more serious actors, is a better choice than having two comedic actors? I guess it depends on what kind of film they want to make.
It could
But
be.
Marvel is about the yucks per minute, as you said.
Yeah, I mean, I could think of an alternate casting for this, and it would be kind of weird. And it would be, obviously, it's funny because it's already been done. These two have already been in a show together. The Good Place. What's his name? The male lead in that. He's the
Ted Danson?
No, the cerebral guy. I forgot what his name was.
Oh,
I can't think of it.
he was Chidi
Yeah,
in the show,
Chidi.
wasn't he?
I mean, he's perfect. He is that spoiler. I mean, that's the exact a relationship they had. He was the cerebral one. She was the more of a punchy type of one. So I mean, it works. Obviously, you don't want to do that again because it's like putting them together. But maybe Mally Ramick, or Rami Malek.
Right.
Maybe he would be a choice. But
Mally
Mamek. Or would he just be
you're
too?
making up
Would he be
names.
too serious? I don't know. Can he play funny? Can he do anything goofy? Can he
I
be
don't
light?
know. Stupid TV, be more funny.
Yeah, I like this though. I mean, there's a good roundabout of people. Although we don't have Herbie, Charlie. Who would you pick to play the voice of Herbie?
Obviously Seth Green.
Oh no, I would pick what's his name from Arrested Development and Veep? Tony Scott. Is it Tony Scott?
Oh, Tony Hale.
Tony Hale.
Tony
Yes,
Hale.
I think he'd be perfect as Herbie.
Yeah. All right. I can't disagree with that. All right, moving on.
Yes.
The X-Men. Todd, this is your baby. You've always been the X-Men guy.
Absolutely.
So take the lead, please.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see which X-Men they select when they do bring them in. Will they go with the all-new X-Men? Will they go with the first class? Will they do a mix, kind of like we had before? But we kicked this bad boy off with Wolverine. Wow. I mean, a lot of people have Dreamcast the lead from Letterkenny, which is funny because he's.
Oh yeah.
I don't know,
but
I don't know if he fits the mold.
But I don't think just because he might fit the mold physically, but he's not. The guy's not really an established actor. He's a stand-up guy. So I think this choice to me really speaks volumes. I think it's a very smart choice.
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe, and you'd say, well, he's not a big guy. Well, Wolverine in the comics is like 5'4". He's short.
Exactly.
He's short.
He's
like a Wolverine. He's very
short.
stringy, and Daniel Radcliffe, I mean, he's just really stretched himself and doing different roles. I mean, he's not afraid to do something that's embarrassing, goofy. I mean, he was the dumb fiance on Kimmy Schmidt. He can play everything, and I think this would be a really cool role, although he might just be a little too famous. That's a problem with a lot of these things. It's like, are people just going to think he's Harry Potter? But maybe they won't, because I mean, would people think, oh, we can't have Professor Xavier be played by Jean-Luc Picard, but it worked. So I don't know. It could go both ways.
There are some crazy choices as I'm going by this. You know what? Go right ahead. Keep going.
So Storm. So they picked the actress from True Blood, which she is a very saucy, very much in your face character actor that I've seen before. I don't know if she screams it. I'm trying to think of who would play. I mean, that type of role that would be really just better than that actress. I mean, she's kind of not known, but she's got chops and she can play pretty much any role. So I'm just thinking of anybody else that fits the bill. And I'm just not as up to speed on like young African-American actresses that I've seen them in like roles where their age works for the part. So sorry about that. I mean, I apologize. Just I don't know who's the hotness and who would be a good fit.
I don't tell you, man. Next up, this is an actress who I love very much, Aquafina as Jubilee. Though Aquafina this is highly unlikely because it's coming into the fact that she is going to be in the Shang Chi film as a major character. But I could certainly see where they're coming from. Very charismatic, fun actress who could really fit the mold. But yeah, they certainly would never double dip like that. Would make a lot of sense.
She seems a bit old for the part too. How old is she now? I mean,
early 20s. I'm
it's
guessing.
probably when you look up her name, you get the water. So it's like hard to guess her age. But yeah, she does not see. I think she's late 20s. But the actress I think would be great for the part is the sister in Kim's Convenience. A totally great actress, very charming, can be comedic, can be in your face, and actually the sister of Shang Chi from the show. She's great, and I think she would be perfect in the role because she does have that enthusiasm that you want from a Jubilee, but also can be tough.
Mm-hmm. Nice, cool.
Yeah,
that's good. Like I said, not kind of a blind spot for me, and I don't know much about this next actress, but again, it's trending a little younger. So this is Shelley Henning from Teen Wolf as Rogue. Louisiana born, brings the Southern Charge, got the strength in the tragedy of the characters whose power is also a curse. Sure, why not? I don't know. Does anything else jump out at you?
Yeah, I mean that's
for a young Rogue.
And does it have to be a young Rogue, or could it be like a Rogue in her 20s dating Gambit, depending on what
because they did a young Rogue before. So yeah, and again, this is an article from a couple of years ago, but that could be a hit. Well, I don't really feel that this next bit is a hit though. Channing Tatum.
Oh no,
that's
So
no.
Yeah, if you have guys by the way, if you hear any of our casting, you're like, you're wrong, this is the perfect person, let us know, because we're not always at the pulse of all the actors and actresses, especially younger actors, because just they come up. But with Gambit, I mean, he was supposed to be in a spinoff X-Men Origins film back in the day, Channing Tatum, and I am just not a fan of him at all. He's kind of like the dude bro, hip hop bro kind of guy who I've just never felt I've liked him in anything, but he is not the right actor for this. Not at all. And I'm trying to think, and do you need a guy who can do a good Cajun accent? Yes, you do. And do I think Channing Tatum can do it? No, it's not what was the one guy, Chad Michael Murray from was it One Tree Hill?
The guy that you were just talking about?
The guy from One Tree Hill, though. The one guy from One Tree Hill. Who was his name? He played.
That is Chad Michael Murray. Yeah,
but that's not the guy I was talking about. The guy that was in Scream Queens was a different.
Oh, are you sure? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Yeah. No, Chad Michael Murray is the guy from One Tree Hill
who played. Didn't he
was not Chad Radwell?
No, didn't he play Gambit in the Wolverine Origins movie too?
Well, no. You're thinking of Taylor. Taylor Kitchener.
Sure. Yeah. From Friday Night Lights, right? Is that what he was from?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know my young actors, and he's probably not young anymore, anyways. But yeah, Channing Tatum. I mean, no, he's a bad pick. And Gambit, that's a good. Oh yeah, this is a wrong pick, but I can't think of anybody who has the gravitas to play that swarmy, sexy. Know who could play him, but he's such a remember the Todd from Scrubs? He could play him.
Shut up! No, you shut up.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Oh no, I was thinking of the Todd. No, that was the Todd.
The Todd. Yeah, always the high five. Yeah, the Todd.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. All right. What's you know what? Well, okay. I don't know this guy, but I scrolled ahead to the next one. It was like, yikes. So who is Dan Boyer?
Apparently in a show called Younger. I mean, we got Iceman. Iceman is always a comedic type of character. And who I think I have in my mind also plays Peter Parker in the Into the Spider-Verse, Jake Johnson.
Yeah. I like him very much. Yeah, you're right. Very dour, very kind of down.
Yeah, sarcastic. I think it'd be perfect.
Right. Exactly. And then this next one is again. This is proof that this is fantasy casting because it doesn't make any sense. John Krasinski is Cyclops.
No,
I don't know. I don't think so. Again, too big of a name. Too old. If you want, to have a youngish cast like in their 20s, John Krasinski has got to be nearing our age. He's got to be in his very late 30s or early 40s. I'd have to double check, but I don't really think he could pull it off.
Yeah, Cyclops is an interesting one because I mean, he's essentially the Boy Scout that nobody likes. So you have to have somebody that has that almost superior sense of self, but still wants to do the right thing. So that leads me down the path of, I mean, wow. I'm trying to dig my brain into actors that I've seen lately that could fit that bill. I'm gonna pick. I can't remember his name. It's like George Yates from CSI, the original CSI show. He had that kind of goody two shoes, kind of a jerk, but does the right thing all the time. So I'm gonna pick George Yates. And you don't know who I'm talking about, so that's okay.
No, you got me there, bud. That is okay. So, moving on down the line, who Forge is a character that A seems like a really off choice, but B, I never made it through Westworld, so I don't know who this dude is.
I don't know
What do you
either.
think?
I mean, Forge is a Native American X-Men, but he's not a popular character. I mean, by any means. I like him a lot because I like the ability. He makes tech, so he can do anything as long as he's got an idea in his head. He can create it. So, but yeah, I don't know a lot of. I mean, you know what? I'm going to pick the actor who was in. He was. Oh God, he was the. I don't know if I want to go too old though. That's a problem. So, and the problem is there's just not enough Native American actors, right? It's a gap. It's a big miss.
Never really has been.
It's a big miss, and we need more. And I think we're going to get more. But you know what? And I'll totally miscast this. But I was going to say Taika Waititi, but he's New Zealander, so he could be. He's a native New Zealander, and we could make him New Zealander versus Native American. He could be.
Why not? You could throw a mustache on him, isn't that what's really?
Yeah, he's like the Native American Tony Stark. Yeah, pretty much.
Right, there you go. So it's weird. I scrolled to the bottom of this list. There is no Jean Grey on this list. They've gone with Emma Frost instead. Rosie Huntington.
Oh no,
Whiteley.
no, she was in she was in that horrible. I mean, you know,
well, it says Mad Max Fury
but
Road
she was kind of she was a she had no presence in that movie. She was one of the wives. She was also in one of the Transformers movies, Charlie. She was basically in the later ones.
Okay,
no presence.
We're not gonna then we're just not gonna talk about it all. You know what? Bring back January Jones. I don't care. Bring her back. She deserves to come back.
I mean, wouldn't it be funny if they picked like Rebecca Romaine Stamos to come back and play like a different type of character? I think she could do a good job with it. You know, being the original Mystique, looking different, I think that could work. But yeah, you need. Who's one of my favorite actors, Charlie? A never nude. The redhead.
Stanley Tucci.
The redhead. No, yeah, probably is too. The redhead from Mad Men.
Oh God, Christina Hendricks.
Just make her a blonde. Put her in that.
She's boobs with feet.
Put her in that.
I'm sure
I would be very happy.
I'm sure she's a very, very lovely woman.
Yeah.
Oh, Todd, how could you?
Yes.
Speaking of weird castings, the guy who's in everything, but again has an MCU cred, is Stanley Tucci, cast here as Professor X.
I love Stanley Tucci. I mean, he is so good.
I do love him. I mean, he can play very serious because he was very serious as Dr. Erskine in Captain
Well, he'll
America,
have a British accent this
so.
time, and he'll have a freshly shorn head, and he'll put on his best British accent. I'm down for this.
Okay.
Put him in, coach.
And, there you go. Put him. Yeah, exactly. Now, I don't know much about the Cassandra Nova character, but it sounds familiar.
No, we don't need to cast her. I think she was such a niche character.
Yeah.
I mean, cool character, but very niche. But we don't have here as Magneto, Charlie. So we do have to cast Mr.
Really.
Magneto. So at this point, we've had some great actors play Magneto. So it's like, who do you put in that role? I mean, do you go a little different? I mean, do you pick old Magneto, young Magneto? I've got one. I'm going to say Ewan McGregor.
Okay.
Ewan McGregor. Put him in the MCU, coach.
Right, exactly. You know what? He quote unquote belongs to Disney. So why the heck not?
He would be fantastic, and he's a great actor, and I love him. So, Ewan McGregor, you are our Magneto.
Ewan McGregor, you are the guy. Woo, good stuff. Okay, so that wraps it up. There's no science behind this. I would be curious to see when any one of these two projects gets cast, if any of this is even in the neighborhood. I would be curious.
Probably
but
Marvel's
I'd be
always
more
listening
curious.
to us, so you know it's going to happen.
Always?
Always.
Are they everywhere? Is there a microphone somewhere here in my living room? I don't see it. But yeah, I would be curious to see how that all shakes out. But I'd be even more curious for people to hit us up on Twitter and let us know what their dream casting is for the two franchises. You know, inquiring minds want to know. Todd and I care. Can't you tell? Look at this face. Look at all the emotion in this face. I care. I want to hear about it. Please. I have to know.
Help us, secret friends. Your only hope. Stay tuned to the end of the podcast for all our great credits and ways to find us. But Charlie, it's time for us to leave. So give us your parting words.
Oh my goodness. Well, friends, thank you as always for joining us. I'm going to tell you that sharing is caring and to keep on trucking.
Be the hero, not the villain.
In a truck. Podcast you just listened to is part of the Secret Friends Podcasting Network. Find us over at secretfriendsunite.com for our 4 awesome shows: Co-op Mode, Code 47, The Holocron Chronicles, and Secret Friends Unite. Please rate and subscribe to us on iTunes and also over on our YouTube channel. Find us over on Twitter at SecretFriendsU and find our merch store over at TeePublic.